Hi there, my name's Josh, and I'm at Parliament today. We're going to be spending a day with the government whip and finding out what she gets up to during her day. Would you be able to introduce yourself to us and let us know what you do here?
Okay, so my name's Pauline Richards and I'm the state member for Cranbourne. As well as being the state member for Cranbourne, I'm the government whip.
The government whip and deputy whip start the day in a meeting to discuss the government's priorities and agenda for the parliamentary sitting day. This will include things such as legislation to be introduced and debated, which members of parliament will make contributions, and any special considerations for the day, such as leave from the parliament, motions, or other events that may be happening in the precinct.
What does the term whip mean?
Oh my gosh, it's such an interesting term, and it's actually has its origins, its genesis, obviously, like so much of the Parliament, in I think it's the 17th century. So it was the whipping of the hounds, and I kind of love that because I have a couple of Irish setters at home, and I imagine myself sometimes having this relationship to people back in the original Westminster system back in the United Kingdom and what the role was there, and making sure that we can function as a parliament, that we're continually having conversations with our colleagues from across the parliament, from both opposition parties and crossbenchers. So yeah, I think it's a really lovely genesis to have that relationship that continues through the Westminster system.
The whip is in constant contact with all their party colleagues throughout the day, making sure they know and understand what role they play in the sitting day. This includes letting members know on what and in what order they'll be speaking in the chamber. This is done via the lists that are prepared earlier.
Now, it's already been a bit of a busy morning for yourself. Can you talk us through some of the things you've done so far?
So it is a busy day. So I usually get in here about just maybe about 7:15 in the morning, and we catch up. So I catch up and have a look at what legislation we've got today. I probably have my first conversation with the opposition earlier in the morning, just to talk through what the plan is for the day, what legislation we'll be debating. As well, we have a bit of a conversation about who's in, if there's anyone on leave, and what the consequences are of that. So if somebody's a crook, I usually hear about it first thing in the morning, and in that sort of situation I have to also just make sure that person is okay, but also just check that they have any role that they need to play today, and if they do have a role, that role is filled.
Just prior to the start of a sitting day, it's time for the whip and her team to head to the chamber to prepare for the day ahead. The bells then call members to the chamber.
So we've just come back from the chamber and we've got the TV on, watching the chamber now.
The day started.
The day started.
So I'm just going up and down and knocking on people's doors and asking them if they're willing to move around. So in the context of the conversation I just had, I just asked Matthew Hilakari, who's the member for Point Cook, if he can move up the list, and so if he's ready to speak on the health legislation.
Thank you, Acting Speaker, and I rise to speak on the health legislation amendment, Regulatory Reform Bill 2024.
So could you introduce yourself for us and what your role is?
I'd love to. My name's Belinda Wilson. I'm the state member for Narre North, and I'm also the deputy whip of the House.
Beautiful. So what do you do in your role as deputy whip to support the whip?
Well, that's exactly what I do. I support the whip. My job is to help and support her through all the jobs and duties that she does. I'm in the chamber a lot, so making sure everyone does their duty when I'm in the chamber, and I try and give her a break so that we're both not in there at all the same time. And going through the day, I guess we workshop and discuss issues that come up, and I'm her support base, I guess you could say.
So what's it like working with the whip?
Oh, it's great. They're just very understanding, but they also keep us in line, which is really good and really important. I mean, that's their role. But when you've got, if something's going on and you need to tell someone, I come to Pauline, and you can always, there's always a understanding ear who can help and also mentor, really. I look at Pauline as a mentor.
Tell me how you do work with members of other parties.
Actually, the conversation I have with members of other parties goes all day. In fact, it often begins well before the day in the chamber starts. And so we are talking constantly through the day about the order of business, about what legislation we're debating, and also just having conversations to make sure that I understand what the priority is of the opposition and the crossbench, as well as making sure that we have all the speakers that we need to, from both the government side as well as opposition and the crossbench, have the opportunity to make contributions on debates.
So it's been a very busy day today. How did it all go in the end?
It's gone really well. So we've spent the day debating some really important legislation that has meant that there's been some extraordinarily meaningful contribution. Sometimes I think we get the best of Parliament when we're talking about complex issues, and people, members of Parliament, really reveal a lot about themselves. So people have been extraordinarily generous in their contributions.